The stadium looks absolutely incredible. Forza Milan, a huge devil's face at one end of the stadium, 1899, and even the Inter fans have done the same at their end of the table. Forza Nord at their end, of the stadium, and a huge banner which says Milano in their famous colours, the black and the blue as well. The fans right up for this. The players will be as well. Of course they will. It's the Derby della Madonnina on Talksport. It is the name that honours the Virgin Mary on top of the famous Milan Duomo, the centrepiece of the city. And as deep as its roots are, if you ask the locals, they will say there are two religions to believe in, two cathedrals to worship in, the beautiful game, the glorious San Siro, and a victory over your city rivals might be as close to heaven as you can get on earth. AC Milan against Internazionale, live on Talksport with the former Manchester City and England defender Danny Mills and our very own Sam Matterface.
Well, for Serie A, for the footballing city of Milan, for the football-mad country of Italy, this is an historic occasion. In the 25 years between 1985 and 2010, Italian clubs won 8 Champions League, contesting 15 finals. It was a period when their top flight rose with Maradona, Arrigo Sacchi, the tycoons of Berlusconi and Moratti, and Football Italia. And then it floundered under the weight of scandal. But there is no doubt Italian football is enduring a renaissance. 2 teams for the semi-finals of the Champions League, 2 teams in the semi-finals of the Europa League. And after Roma won the inaugural Conference League last year, Fiorentina are looking to do the same this campaign. There are Italians everywhere. That is certainly the case in the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium tonight, which is producing one hell of a noise, otherwise known as the San Siro, which is due to be replaced over the next half-decade, but no one could ever really come up with a sustainable plan that everybody agrees with. And will it host a Champions League classic before it disappears? We are about to find out. Milan without Rafael Leao. Inter with Barella, Mkhitaryan and Çalhanoğlu preferred in midfield, and Lautaro Martinez and Edin Dzeko up front. And Lukaku knocking on the door. The referee, who is Jesus Gil Manzano of Spain. The VAR, Juan Martinez. And with me tonight, the former Leeds, England and Manchester City fullback, Danny Mills. And the intensity of a derby combined with a Champions League semi-final, it's an intoxicating mix. How important is it to manage your emotions in a situation like this?
Incredibly important. As I said earlier, it's very cliche, but you have to play the game. It's difficult. Obviously, it is. Well, it's the closest derby ever, isn't it? When you talk about, some of the derbies that we get that are 100 miles apart, or whatever they are, not quite the same. This is, this is exceptional. A ground share that has been for, ever since I can remember, has always been the case to giants of European football. But they've got to go out and they've just got to put that almost to one side, the players, and they've got to think, right, okay, what do I need to do? I need to perform to my absolute best in this arena.
Black and red stripes of Milan, the home team, shooting from right to left in the first half. The blue and black stripes of the away side, Inter, with white shorts tonight and white socks, which is a big difference. And they're
interesting, Sam, isn't it?
Right-hand side.
Interesting they've not gone for their away kit. They've gone for the away shorts, but they haven't changed their whole strip.
Yeah. We feel that might be a little bit difficult in terms of observation, but seemingly at this moment in time it's pretty clear. The predominant colour on the AC Milan shirt is black, and the predominant colour really on the Inter shirt is blue. Ball pinched on halfway by Theo Hernandez. Dumfries a little bit late on the pink-haired Theo Hernandez. The ball goes back towards halfway. Krunic sees it back to Simon Kjaer, and Fakari Tomori manages to nudge it back to Mike Manuel in the Milan goal. 0-0, 1 minute 46 seconds played, live on Talksport, and it's Milan 0, Inter 0. Ball loose on halfway. Benacer trying to win it back for Milan. It's collected by Mkhitaryan, who tries to skip in between past Salamakers and Krunic. Then with Denzel Dumfries, who's trying to get down the right-hand side into an advanced position. He gets cropped and knocked to the floor, and the ball is pushed out on this near side, and it's away for a throw-in to the home team. 2 minutes gone, you're listening to Talksport. Milan coming into the derby 9 unbeaten, but with patchy form. Inter probably in their best form of the season. But the form book often gets torn up in intense emotional battles like this. And let's be clear, not many people expected Milan to squeeze past Napoli in the last round.
No, and then you could say that last year, you know, the way the tournament panned out. How often were Real Madrid, you know, up against the ropes, you know, ducking and diving, holding on for dear life, and they came through it on several occasions. That's the beauty of a cup competition. You know, you don't always have to be the best team over the course of the season. You need to get through into the latter stages and then just work your way into that final.
We've played 3 minutes. Milan 0, Inter 0. Here's Fikayo Tomori, just short of the centre circle inside Milan territory. Plays it square to Simon Kjær with his blonde hair tied up above his head. He turns under a little bit of pressure from Edin Dzeko and slides it back to the French goalkeeper Mike Maignan, who in bright orange smacks clear upfield, held up by Giroud, nearly 37 years of age. He said he still feels as if he's got the same energy as when he was a boy. Ball loose on halfway, a mistake by Inter, and quite a poor mistake by Çalhanoğlu. Just kicks it straight out of play, and it's away for a Milan throw.
I have to say, I'm glad the pitch is in decent condition. Obviously, when I played here many moons ago, back in 2000, it was a terrible pitch. And again, when you have two teams playing,
it wasn't this century.
Just, only just. But I mean, notoriously, this stage of the season, this pitch has never been great. I think that, you know, the fact that two teams play on it, the way the stadium is, the way the roof is very tight in and around it. You know, it's not great. So, but at the moment, you know, the pitch looks good, which means we should get a much better spectacle of football.
It's a cracking stadium to sit in and watch football.
All right, so for me, it's the outside of it as well. You know, when you come up to it,
the walk-up is amazing.
Yeah, and those big sort of spiral pillars that are just. They are iconic.
Well, they're circular ramps that get people up into the stadium, and they were only actually put in ahead of the 1990 World Cup. And this stadium's been shared for well over 80 years now between these two, and I don't know how much longer that's going to last. There was a big plan to build a revamped San Siro, but that seems to be on the back burner at this moment in time. Here's a step over by Salamakers as AC Milan play out from the back. A little turn in midfield by Benacer, a little bit late, goes wiring into challenge. He's got his socks pulled up so high, Benacer, that he looks as if he's wearing black leggings underneath his shorts. The ball won on halfway by Mkhitaryan. He sees it all the way back to Andre Onana, who's been recently linked with a move to both Chelsea and Manchester United. Here on the far side, the left is Di Marco. Great form right now, played very well in Saturday's game against Roma. Plays it infield to Acerbi. Acerbi to Bastoni. Bastoni moves up towards the edge of the penalty area, flies it long up toward Dzeko. Dzeko takes on Fikayo Tomori, slides in, gives away a free kick. And that is going to be a free kick to Inter, just 5 yards in from the left touchline, midway inside Milan territory. It was a little bit rash from Fikayo Tomori.
And I think that's why Dzeko's in the team. He does that so well. You know, that the ball is pinged into him, he takes it on his chest and he takes it away and draws the foul from Tomori. It's not the sort of thing that Lukaku does. Sometimes his first touch back to goal isn't the greatest, is it?
Well, that's one of the massive pluses, as you say, of Edin Dzeko, his ability to make the ball stick, to drag his team up the park.
It's what Giroud does at the other end, isn't it?
Actually, Giroud's an expert at it. Bearing in mind what's happened to Chelsea since both Lukaku and Giroud moved on, it's perplexing that they were never replaced and certainly allowed to do so. Free kick then to Inter, and this is 5 yards in from the left touchline. It's about 15 yards from the halfway line, launched towards the penalty area, flicked on by Acerbi, and it took a little flick off a Milan head, and it's out for the first corner of the game. All the stars are in tonight. Andrei Shevchenko is here. Novak Djokovic is here to come and watch a rare Champions League semi-final between two clubs from the same city. 7 minutes gone. First corner of the game to be taken over on the far side by Çalhanoğlu. Dzeko, Dumfries and Acerbi just about 5 yards back from the 6-yard box in the goal mouth. Bastoni, and also lurking with intent Lautaro Martinez. It's delivered in towards the far post and headed in by Dzeko, who wrapped his left foot round the body of the defender and into the top corner. A brilliant volley from Edin Dzeko. First corner of the game. Milan not awake, into waking everybody up, and he may be getting on in age, but he's still finding the back of the net with regularity. Milan 0, Inter 1. Edin Dzeko with a brilliant left-footed volley.
What a volley that is. That is absolutely outstanding. We saw two fantastic strikes last night, but that is absolutely superb. He's strong enough to hold off the defender. He's really strong and powerful in that moment. Calabria, he holds him off the captain, and he manages to sort of hook his foot around him and guide the ball into the top corner. Absolutely outstanding finish.
Brilliant finish from Edin Dzeko after 8 minutes of this game. A really good finish from the corner from the far side. Çalhanoğlu's delivery, and Çalhanoğlu's delivery is always pinpoint, but the way he just sort of wrapped his body around Calabria and swept the ball into the net with his left foot. Brilliant volley. And it's 1-0 to the visitors. And the 5,500 contingent in the middle strip of the tier away to our left, the North Stand, absolutely delighted by the opening 10 minutes of this game. It was a brilliant cross in towards the penalty spot area. I don't really know how physically he managed to wrap himself around Calabria, but he did. Let's go off to the game in the WSL. Brighton against Arsenal. Brawl field, Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. Crossing from the right-hand side, headed in by Frida Malan, the Norwegian striker, to give Arsenal surely an unassailable lead. Brighton 0, Arsenal 3.
It was 4-0 the last time we checked in at Kingsmeadow with Charlotte Richardson. We'll get there in just a second. Chelsea in front and still trying to close that gap to Manchester United at the top of the WSL table. Actually doing a very good job for their goal difference over the last few games, having beaten Leicester by 7 goals to 0 at the weekend. The ball heading back towards Andrea Nana, who kicks it long and out towards this near side. It goes over the head of Teo Hernandez and is out for a throw-in on this near touchline. 10 minutes gone. Milan 0, Inter 1, live on Talksport. We're in the Champions League with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest. Now Mills alongside me. It's just about the perfect start that Inter could have asked for.
Oh, it's unbelievable. You know, first corner they get. A little bit surprised having seen it back with AC Milan's defending.
Here is Çalhanoğlu leaving it on the edge of the area. It comes to Mkhitaryan, who steams into the box and smashes it beyond Mike Manuel. And it's 2-0 to Inter. In the blink of an eye, Simone Inzaghi punches the sky. The AC Milan defence parted like the Red Sea, and the Armenian Mkhitaryan wandered through the middle and smashed it high above the French goalkeeper's arm. And Inter take a 2-0 lead in the first leg of the semi-final.
Wow, wasn't expecting this in any way, shape or form. I was just about to talk about how the defence, I thought, maybe went a little bit missing for the first goal with Dzeko. There was no one really on the edge of the 6-yard box to go and attack the ball. And this time, like you said, where were the centre-halves? Where were the holding midfield players? Mkhitaryan just ran through completely unopposed. It was far too easy for him. One-on-one with the goalkeeper, sat him down on his backside and just put it into an empty net. I mean, outstanding from Inter, but incredibly disappointing.
Got that cagey game that I thought we'd get. It's 2-0 to Inter.
Well, I think we all did. We all expected that. And again, Hugh was talking about Tomori. Now, he wasn't involved directly in both the goals, but where's your centre-halves in these big games?
Well, it was dreadful defending from Milan as a unit in the opening 10 minutes of the game. Ball sent forward by Milan, who now need a response, really. It is only 10 minutes into the game. The gloved faces of Andrei Shevchenko, matched by Paolo Maldini, sitting high up in the San Siro tonight, watching on as his team have already been cut open twice, once from a simple corner, and the second goal, a really simple move through the middle of the pitch. Çalhanoğlu square to Mkhitaryan, his little body swerve, and then all of a sudden the Milan defence disappeared and he smashed it high above Manuel, and it's 2-0 to Inter. Salamaca's trying to respond. Dumfries gets a touch on it, puts it behind. It's away for a corner kick to Milan, their first of the game, and Milan really haven't settled yet, Danny.
No, they haven't. I'd love to see the second goal again from going a little bit further back to find out where that came from. I think we were both incredibly surprised that Inter even got an attack out of that move. It wasn't like they were building up play. So they need to go back and sort of see exactly how they managed to get in that position in the first place.
13 minutes gone, corner kick at the other end. Giroud and Salamaca's trying to jostle for position. Pierre has come up from the back as well. It's aimed in deep towards the far post. Salamaca's felt he was brought down inside the area by Bastoni. There's a push and a shove and a little bit of afters going on. Sherby is also getting involved with Olivier Giroud. Just watch Salamaca's at the top of your picture. He was wrestled to the floor by Bastoni.
There's two of them in there, isn't there? There's all sorts going on.
I mean, the VAR should probably have a little look at that. Jose Martinez Muniera.
6 of one, half dozen the other. You know, Giroud and Cherby have got hands on each other. They're both pulling each other's shirts, and then Bastoni at the far post as well. You can't start giving penalties for that. Who pulls whose shirt first?
Well, the VAR isn't looking at it for confirmation. No details yet of any VAR check.
He has got tights on, by the way. That's why you thought his socks were pulled up really high.
He did look like
that. Leggings or whatever they are.
But what a start for Inter, who came into this game having won their last 5 matches. Milan beat Lazio at the weekend comfortably. They had slipped to draws with Roma and Cremonese. Actually, they were poor against Cremonese recently. Inter's last 3 matches, 9 points out of 9. They've scored 11 goals, and they've just scored 2 here. And it's a very different Inter team, because they were very calm and composed against Roma at the weekend, which is a change from a month or so ago when they were a little bit erratic, but they're playing with more maturity now. And they've certainly taken a grip on this match. Ball skipped forward out towards the far side, headed out from the right full-back position by Calabria, still wondering how Edin Dzeko, at the age that he is of 37, was able to sort of wriggle his way around his whole body. He just sort of seems to slither around him like a snake and volley the ball into the top corner. Must be doing some serious yoga, that fella. Here's Çalhanoğlu into Mkhitaryan, who's stretching, and it comes towards the edge of the box, and Çalhanoğlu's effort hits the outside of the post, comes back into the area. Dzeko towards the edge of the penalty spot, struck by Mkhitaryan over the top from Barella. And it remains 2-0, it should have been 3. Çalhanoğlu from the edge of the area, cracking a shot which hit the inside of the post. He cut across the ball and it went flying, veering away from Mignon. It came back up the post into the penalty area. Mkhitaryan and Barella both had chances and they spurned them both.
Unbelievable. Inter could easily be 3-0 up, having not really had to do anything in this game. The first strike, it was a little bit unlucky from Çalhanoğlu. He slices across it a little bit, and that forces the ball wide of the goalkeeper onto the inside of the post. But after it came back, the chance for Mkhitaryan was unbelievable.
They need a timeout here. Stefano Paoli is just having a little word down on the touchline. Mike Maignan is having a word. He just seemed to flex his knee sort of in towards his body, which looked a bit dodgy. Benacer also was hobbling just a moment ago, but seriously, Milan are reeling from the fact that their goal has been under siege in the opening 17 minutes live on Talksport from the San Siro. Milan 0, Inter 2. Let's go off to the game down at Broadfield. Ian Abraham's got news of another goal.
Yeah, another goal in half-time. It's Brighton 0, Arsenal 4. 2 for Blackstenius in the first 8 minutes of the game. Then a goal from Freedom Malam, a nice header, and then the 4th goal right on half-time. Played in on the right-hand side of the area. Pilova beat the keeper at the near post. This is all over as a contest. Brighton 0, Arsenal 4.
This is all over as well. Kings Meadow, Charlotte Richardson.
Chelsea 5, Leicester 0. Lauren James with the pick of the goals scored so far this evening. A magic moment, a goal all of her own making. James charged down the right-hand side and into the area, launching a sumptuous shot into the top left-hand corner. Chelsea 5, Leicester 0.
Junior Messias has come on for Benacer after just 17 minutes. And it does look as if Benacer is injured, and it's not a tactical change, but it has given just a minute or so for Pioli to try and calm his team down.
Well, you just sort of wonder, you know, the fact that he was wearing leggings, tights, whatever, maybe there was some sort of little niggle in there that he wasn't completely happy with, but he's gone off. But as I said, Inter 2-0 up and haven't really had to do an awful lot. You know, a set piece and then Mkhitaryan running straight through the middle. I think he probably should have done better with a chance that he just had. It could have made it 3. It comes back out to him. Was he 10 yards out? He doesn't really connect properly, and he almost hits the goalkeeper rather than the goalkeeper making a great save.
That's a great chance for Mkhitaryan to make it 3, and actually I think Barella was really furious about that, and he made his point clear straight afterwards, because when you're in these situations you've got to kill a team off, haven't you? Because they can almost have finished this tie in the first 20 minutes.
2-0, okay, you know, yes, you're in firm control of that, but obviously it's very, very early on. 3-0, heads start to drop. It starts to become a problem, especially that early on in the game, and as the game wears on, players get tired, you've got another chance of a counter-attack, could easily make it 4, so I think they'll be very disappointed. If that goes in, it's almost tie over.
Still a long way to go in the tie. 2-0 to the visitors, the nominal visitors on the night. Inter. Goals early on from Dzeko and Mkhitaryan, 2 men who once plied their trade in Manchester, now very much in Milan. In the semi-finals of the Champions League, the first leg, for the right to play either Real Madrid or Manchester City in the final of this competition on the 10th of June, live on Talksport. Teo Hernandez, infield it goes to Radi Krunic, and then just left of that Tonali, who brushes aside Mkhitaryan, looks for the run of Giroud, hesitated, didn't play it early enough, and then draws the foul from Denzel Dumfries, or thinks he does, goes down. The referee from Spain tells him to get up and stop messing around. Barella just about keeps it on the near side. Teo Hernandez wires into a challenge, and the referee tells him no nonsense, don't start coming over to me and screaming and shouting, play on.
I think the referee might have got that one right as well. You know, Tonali, the challenge starts to come in and he jumps very, very early. Looks like he's trying to buy the foul.
It's a jump, isn't it?
It is, but the part of you then says if he doesn't jump, he gets taken out.
So would you have given a free kick in that scenario?
Probably not, because the jump was so extreme, but there is always this delicate balance that actually when people say there was no contact, it doesn't always have to be contact for it to be a foul, because sometimes, you know, players will go into challenges and they're dangerous challenges. If the player doesn't jump, he gets taken out. If he does jump, goes off balance, and then of course, you know, yeah, well actually that is a foul. That one I think he was definitely looking for the foul though.
Di Marco has sped away down the left-hand side, produced a cross into towards the near post, which Manuel is going to collect rather easily. And he gobbles that up, pulls it into his chest, and Milan survive once again. 20 minutes gone, it's been a lightning start to this game. Inter consolidating their top 4 status at the weekend with a win over Roma, but starting this game with their foot to the floor. And there was a thought this morning, if you were reading Corriere della Sera or Gazzetta dello Sport, that Inzaghi would manage the game, try and contain it. There was the other argument, the alternative view, that maybe without Rafael Leao, that tonight would be the night to go hell for leather, get in front and take the game away from Stefano Pioli and his team.
But I think they've gone with the first one. I think they're trying to manage the game. They've not gone all out attack, have they? It was a simple set piece, poor defending, and the second goal, as you said, the defence, I don't know where the defence is. There is nobody in the middle of the pitch
before our eyes.
So it's not like Inter have gone, you know what, let's go out and attack them. Rafael Leao's not playing, it's a real opportunity.
But it becomes that now.
Oh, of course it does, yeah. It's almost just sort of fallen their way. I said that they're 2-0 up without having really to do anything for that.
Man, they're not in terrible form, but they're not in great form either, and they certainly haven't been playing as well as Inter have over the last month or so. 21.5 minutes gone. It's Milan 0, Inter 2, live on Talksport tonight. Danny Mills played in a Champions League knockout match, a group stage match actually here in
first group as well. First group.
There was 2 groups back then.
And people moan about fixture congestion now.
It was only 1 year they did the 2 groups though, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah.
I only played it 1 year, don't I? It's the only year that mattered to me.
Salamakers cutting in right-footed, then turning back out again. The challenge from behind is from Barella, and he gets away with it. And now Çalhanoğlu is going forward, and Dzeko has eluded Tomori. He's played it out towards the left-hand side. It's blocked by Calabria. And there's just a hint of the vulnerability that I was talking to you about a little bit earlier with Fikayo Tomori. The ease with which the 37-year-old Dzeko body swerved away from him and nicked the ball into opposition territory.
I would say more than a hint. I mean, that was far too easy, in and around the halfway line. Dzeko just dropped his shoulder. Tomori dived in and just ghosted past it. Very, very simple. And that's a player of what, 36? Who's 37, who's never really had any pace.
Recently scored twice in the 6-0 thrashing of Verona. He's scored 3 times now against Milan this season, Edin Dzeko. And they've given the ball away. Calabria on halfway, slid it straight to Mkhitaryan. Çalhanoğlu on the break, plays it through towards Dzeko, edge of the area. He's got support inside the box, but he tries to go it alone, right-footed, balloons it towards the near post, and it's well over the top. There was an overlap incoming, but it was a little bit late arriving in terms of the support. Barella went down the right-hand side. It was a wild slash in the air from Dzeko, and it's into the Milan fans in the Sud curb, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Such a shame that Rafael Leao is unavailable. His talent has certainly come to the fore in recent months. He only lasted a couple of minutes on the weekend. 12 minutes on the clock when he went running down the left-hand side into the Lazio penalty area and just collided with the goalkeeper, and after that didn't really get up again. And I'm not sure whether Brahim Diaz is going to get up after a challenge on halfway from behind by Denzel Dumfries, who went up for an aerial ball and landed on the back of the Spaniard.
Yeah, just rides over the back of him. It's a little bit of a piggyback, doesn't he?
Ibrahimovic not in the Champions League squad after his many injuries this year, but he is standing watching this fixture from the sidelines tonight. Just gave a glare in the direction of Denzel Dumfries.
How they'd love him fit right now. It's interesting, isn't it, when we talk about there aren't many out-and-out number 9s now in the world.
Is that why Dzeko, Giroud,
well, that's what I'm talking about.
This is still playing at the age there.
But also one of the hardest positions to play, and now you're expected to be a young player that's fit, energetic, and can run everywhere. And some of the best number 9s on the planet are the oldest ones. Benzema is in there, Giroud is in there, Dzeko is in there. It's strange, isn't it, that we think about the game albeit about speed and pace and everything else, but that number 9 position is actually about experience, body position.
Milan have absolutely lost their heads in the game. They keep giving the ball away so cheaply. They haven't had a single shot on goal in the match so far. We've played 25 minutes and they've been loose in possession, loose in defence, and they trail by 2-0. Here is Theo Hernandez. And now they're in a situation where they can sit back inside their own half. No need to pressurise too much, although Çalhanoğlu is quite happy to do that. So is Lautaro Martinez, who's wearing the captain's armband tonight. They're allowing Milan to come onto them, and then they are a real threat on the counter. Ball on the right-hand side. It's collected by Tonali. He plays it infield to no one in particular. Now Çalhanoğlu has picked it up and slid the ball forward out towards the left-hand side. Dzeko looks up, looks for Lautaro Martinez, who takes it down brilliantly with one touch, then swerves away from Fikayo Tomori, pops the ball out towards the far side, but here was positioned exquisitely to intervene for Milan, bringing the ball clear up to halfway. Salamakers now goes charging forward down the left side. He's being tracked and chased by Barella. Brilliant tackle by him. He dived in, hooked the ball back, and then got up and started to use his hands on Salamakers. As a result of that, has given away a free kick in a left wing position for Milan.
It's just a little bit too aggressive, wasn't he, trying to win that back. I know it's hard to judge, and it maybe shouldn't really judge in 26, 27 minutes of a game, but every time Tomori's been asked a question so far, he's failed. He's not won a single duel yet.
27 minutes gone, Milan 0. into 2.
They'll probably score now.
Has managed to pop up with 1 goal so far this season. He was excellent actually in the quarter-final second leg, and he kept Osman quiet pretty much until the last few seconds of that game. Look at Simone Inzaghi.
In fact, he doesn't even go up for free kicks and corners, does he?
He's staying back at the moment. Here is the corner kick, the free kick on this near side. Flicked in, a little bit like a corner. Comes back out to the edge of the area. Calabria went to hit it. He was blocked by Çalhanoğlu and then rescued over on the far side by Brahim Diaz. He flicks it into Giroud. Looks for the 1-2. Across comes Bastoni. Offside flag is up. It's going to be a free kick inside the penalty area. Oh, and Bastoni just having a little pop at Brahim Diaz, and it's just a little word from Acerbi, slightly more experienced than Bastoni, who says, Alan, you do know that we're already 2-0 up, mate. You getting sent off is not going to help the situation. It just calms the situation down. I think Bastoni was a little bit aggrieved about the little flick, and then when he turned around and said something to Brahim Diaz, who is about 5'4.5", went and tried to take on the 7-foot Alessandro Bastoni, at which point there was a rather dismissive look by the Italian.
They probably live in the same streets as well. They're probably neighbours.
Well, at the moment the Nerazzurri are certainly in charge of this fixture. Oh, it's a lovely run by Çalhanoğlu after the flick on by Dzeko. He then back-heeled the ball into no one in particular, and Tonali was then fouled by a combination of Lautaro Martinez and Dzeko, and it's going to be a free kick inside Milan territory. But when Inter start coming forward, they look slick and they look purposeful, and Milan at this moment in time look a little bit frenetic.
It almost looks like if Milan went for it, they could pretty much score at will, I would say. Every time they go forward, it's like the defence seems to just open up and disappear. Not quite sure what AC are thinking at the moment.
Giroud taking the ball out of the sky and funneling it back into the centre circle. It's collected by Tonali and then out towards the right, where Calabria goes charging forward. Davide Calabria trying to bring the ball to Diaz. Diaz then sends it wide to Junior Messias. His low cross into Calabria. A little back heel flick between his own legs at a narrow angle was difficult to pull off, but almost managed to outfox Andrea Nana at the near post. It's only narrowly wide and into the side netting, and it remains 2-0 to Inter.
Clever little flick at the near post, but it's always going to be incredibly difficult to squeeze that in. You know, when you're beyond the near post, it's almost beyond the 6-yard box, wasn't it? So trying to flip that in with that clever little Cruyff turn, never going to be easy from there.
Ball out on this near touchline, and Denzel Dumfries will take the throw-in. Remember, tomorrow night live on Talksport, West Ham take on RZ. Oh, here's Lautaro Martinez. He's round the back of the defence. He's brought down inside the penalty area by Simon Kjær. It's going to be a penalty.
I think Tomori gives the foul, Sam, if I'm looking at that.
Well, Simon Kjær is the man who is receiving the yellow card. Tomori is pleading his innocence. The two of them went tracking Lautaro Martinez, who skipped back in field in between the two centre-halves. Once again, it was too easy. He rolled Simon Kjær, then came round one side. It was Simon Kjær who got the final touch on him, I think. And as a result of that, there was an immediate point to the spot by the Spanish referee. And it was clumsy from both of them, really.
They were 6s and 7s, the pair of them. Absolutely appalling defending.
There is a penalty check by VAR. They are just checking to see whether there was enough contact. The VAR.
He gets sandwiched, doesn't he? Tomori's got ice skates on.
He is going to go over and have a look at the monitor here, just
maybe
to make sure. It is under review now, the foul, whether or not there was sufficient contact. Lautaro Martinez went down. There certainly did seem to be contact with the replay that we saw.
He got sandwiched, didn't he? With the meat and the sandwich. Tomori went down and fell over because and that's twice, 2 or 3 times he's done that. It's very difficult to tell. I mean, that's the one. Is
it a clear and obvious error?
That's the one where he catches his he catches his trailing foot.
No foul. He's going to overturn it. No penalty. And they'll have to withdraw the yellow card for Simon Kjær, won't he?
Yeah, he will, yeah. He has done.
Yeah. No penalty. Lautaro Martinez is now asking, well, actually, Fikayo Tomori and Mike Manuel are saying, now what about giving him a yellow card for diving? I don't think that's possible either, to be honest with you, bearing in mind I thought there was a little bit of contact between the two.
Well, good friend Dermot Gallagher always said, not every single foul is a yellow card, not every single contact is a foul, and that's maybe one of those. I think there's a slight touch, because the thing is, he's done both players. He's in between them, he's in on goal.
Why would he go down?
Exactly. You know, he's sat Tomori down on his backside. He's the other side of Simon Kjær. Have a shot. So I don't quite understand. Even if the contact is minimal, when you're chopping direction at full pace, it doesn't take a lot for someone to just flick your heel.
I think it's a big,
and you go down.
I think it's a big call to overturn that on the evidence available.
Yes, definitely.
I'd like to see a few more replays, and obviously there may well be a more definitive angle that we haven't seen that says there wasn't that much contact at all, but I thought there's no way they're going to overturn it with that sort of evidence. Anyway, Inter are coming forward. What a first half we've had in the San Siro. Dzeko moving at pace towards the edge of the area, comes through to Di Marco, back out to Lautaro Martinez, who shoots towards the far corner, over the top of the crossbar this time after it was repelled from inside the box. But they're getting closer to a third goal, that's for sure.
Inter have really got their tails up, haven't they? You know, I think they smell blood at the moment. They're really going in for the kill, and why not? Every single time they look to attack, AC Milan are all over the place. Absolutely all over the place.
Well, Inter lead by 2-0, and they could have had a third after their penalty that was awarded initially for a foul on Lautaro Martinez was ruled out by the Spanish VAR and the referee. They're coming forward again though with Barella, who slips the ball towards the left edge of the area. DiMarco strikes it, comes through to Dumfries, who tries to volley the ball goalwards after a deflection, and again it goes narrowly wide. But they put so much pressure on this Milan goal in the opening 35 minutes of this match that it's amazing that it hasn't wilted even further. And they do look a little bit confused, don't they, at the back there, looking at the body language of Fikayo Tomori and Simon Kjær. They almost look bamboozled.
It looks a little bit like at the moment where it's attack versus defence, and the defence, the reserve team or the youth team have been saying, you know, don't tackle anyone, don't get close to anyone, we don't want any injuries before the big game, because the Inter players are just running into space at will.
Teo Hernandez trying to charge down the left hand side. Again, the challenge comes in from Denzel Dumfries to spew the ball out towards the near touchline. Again, Simone Inzaghi, dressed a little bit like a younger Roberto Mancini, is strolling down the touchline. He's almost down in the midpoint of the Inter half as this throw-in takes place and Milan come forward. Again, it's very quickly jutted out by the Inter defence and away for another throw, this time level with the edge of the penalty area. Tonali is there alongside Teo Hernandez, who's going to launch this one now into the box. 3-0 would have been a very different complexion on the game. 2-0 is difficult but not ungettable. It's half clear from inside the box by Bastoni, back in by Tomori, away by Di Marco, who's deep inside his own penalty area. Simon Kjær will bring it down, but he's under pressure here from Lautaro Martinez, and Martinez really harassing and putting pressure on his opponents tonight. He's an absolute pest, isn't he?
They just look nervous at the back, AC Milan. Kjær and Tomori.
I'm surprised they're playing a 2, because when I've seen them previously this season, the best performances that I've seen defensively have been with a 3. I mean, you look at how much of a riot those Inter forwards are having tonight. They've had 11 chances on goal already, 3 shots on target,
and they generally play 2 up top, which actually, so playing 3 would make more sense. At the moment, they're almost going man for man, you know, with Dzeko and Martinez up there, and it's causing them real problems.
I think he'll change it at half-time. I think he'll bring on Malik Thiaw.
He's got to change something, because at the moment they're getting absolutely battered. They're lucky it's still only 2.
Milan nil, Inter 2. Here is Edin Dzeko, scored the opener after just 8 minutes, slides it through the centre circle. It took a little deflection, but again, AC Milan, they win it back, they give it away so quickly. They're second best to every single ball at the moment.
They're so reactive to everything that they're waiting to see what happens, then they're making a move, whereas Inter are very much on the front foot.
slick, it's fast, the tempo's high, the rhythm's good, and now the ball's gone through to the edge of the area. Calabria's had to react. Lautaro Martinez isn't allowing him to get it clear. It's gone into the left fullback position. Calabria's had to come all the way out towards this near side, and Martinez is still there acting like a pest, winning the ball back and then forcing a throw in on this near side. They're just not at it in comparison to their inter-compatriots.
They're defending as individuals. Simple as that. There's no cohesion. It doesn't look like there's a plan. It doesn't look like it's a unit as a back four. They're all doing their individual things regardless of what the person next to them is doing, and that is causing them huge problems right now.
You cannot afford to panic in the heat of the San Siro, but Milan are doing just that. Another mistake, edge of the area, comes back to Barella, and then the ball jettisons out towards the near right-hand side. A little flick by Barella on the near touchline, and it's one back by Brahim Diaz, who thinks he was fouled, but across went a Cherby, won it cleanly according to the referee, and it's brought away by Darmian.
They've got to keep the sorry, Sam. They've got to keep their heads, AC Milan, because at the moment there's one or two players
teetering on the brink.
Yeah, because they're chasing around as individuals. They're getting picked off. You know, they're going to close somebody down and they're just getting passed around. They look around, there's nobody behind them. They're getting frustrated and they're getting a little bit angry.
More organised, more settled, more in tune with one another at the moment.
But they haven't had to play well, have they, Sam? No. It's not like they've done it
at a higher tempo and they're waiting for the opposition to make mistakes.
It's not like they've had to do anything amazing.
There's stupid foul on this near side on Denzel Dumfries. He came wiring in over on the near touchline.
I'd have booked it for pink hair in the first place.
Listen, you're just jealous that he's got hair.
Well, that is true. But you got to be. If you want to have pink hair, you've got to be good. And he hasn't been.
You know, when you've got hair, you can do what you like with it.
That is true.
Hence why I've decided to grow mine into, little mullet at the back now.
Yeah, if I did, I wouldn't be doing that.
Somebody else said that to me today. 5 minutes to go.
Dean Ashton, perhaps. Us follically challenged like to stick together.
It suits you. Milan nil into 2.
It's not a choice.
You're listening to Talksport. And it's going to be a free kick which Çalhanoğlu will take on this near side. Created the first goal from the set piece. This is a lot deeper, wide on the right, a couple of steps in from the right touchline. His delivery is good though. Now Lautaro Martinez headed free header on the ball and then gives away a free kick on the edge of the penalty area as Milan trying to clear.
AC Milan were so deep in that scenario. You know, that the free kick was 40, 50 yards from goal, and they were inside the penalty spot. And as the cross comes in, or the ball comes in from deep, Martinez is able to take that on his thigh. That should not be able to happen inside the penalty area.
Tomorrow, West Ham against RZ. Friday, Posh against Sheffield Wednesday as our playoff coverage starts. Remember, all the playoff games live on Talksport and Talksport 2. And Saturday morning will be live in your neck of the woods. Leeds United against Newcastle United is live on Talksport. 11 o'clock start for Rashford. I'll be there. Looking forward to what will be a terrific encounter and a vital game for Leeds United, bearing in mind what's happened this week. Here's Salamanca's on the near touchline, trying to get down into a left wing position. Back to Theo Hernandez, who's crossing the boxes aimed towards Giroud. Headed away. Goes back out towards the far side, and then it's whipped back in towards the near post, missed by Junior Messias, and then picked up again by the inter-defence, and it's cleared away towards the halfway line. Valerian Ismail has just been announced as the new Watford boss. Former West Brom and Barnsley manager. Chris Wilder leaving at the end of the season. He was on a short-term contract. Valerian Ismail, who used to be at Barnsley and formerly at West Brom, is now going to be in charge of Watford.
Is a little bit direct, would you say, as a coach? Would that be unfair?
It has been. A bit chaotic football at times. I just wonder whether or not we should probably start the sweepstake now as to how many months he gets to...
I was going to go games. I'm going less than 10.
It's become a bit too chaotic, I think, at that football club.
Less than 10 games I'm going.
Are you?
Yeah. 0 to 10 he gets the sack.
When the championship season starts, it will start on Talksport. Talksport 2, the home of the EFL. Milan nil into 2. Talksport live in the Champions League tonight. Remember, the second legs of both these games are available next week. Brahim Diaz rolls past Darmian, gets into the box, tries to take on Acerbi, who comes across towards the near side in the right full-back position, puts it away. And in the last few moments, there's been a little bit of a brightness about Milan, which have been missing for the opening 40 minutes of the game.
But even then, compared to Inter, they look a little bit leggy, look a little bit tired.
Tomori onto Calabria, 5 yards outside the box. Wide on the right is Junior Messias, who takes on Bastoni, produces across towards the penalty spot. Giroud with a volley, it's cleared away by Barella, comes back to the edge of the box, out towards the right side. Tonali miskicked it, and it falls into the path of Messias, and then Bastoni wriggles away from him. He's dragged to the floor. It's going to be a free kick. And there's some glum-looking faces in the AC Milan crowd now as we approach half-time.
Inter have got a lot more fight, haven't they? A lot more spirit, a lot more energy. At the moment, AC Milan look absolutely demoralised.
In the WSL, Chelsea leading by 5-0 against Leicester. It's Brighton 0, Arsenal 4. We're seeing pictures of AC Milan's Zlatan Ibrahimovic sitting high up in the main stand that we're watching from.
Right, how they need Rafael Leao and Zlatan.
Yeah, Rafael Leao was sitting just alongside him as well.
It's made for Zlatan, this, isn't it? Come on, second leg, or come on, score a hat-trick. I know he can't play, but
he's not in the Champions League squad, sadly, because of his injuries. He would be the oldest player in the Champions League this season if he had been included. Onana kicks it clear up towards Lautaro Martinez, who gives a little bump to Tomori. The ball eventually cleared by the Englishman up towards halfway. Diaz runs into trouble. Free kick is given in his favour. And we're running down the final few minutes of this game. You'll be able to react to this and last night's matches and all the big stories of the day when the Sports Bar opens for business with Jason and Jamie from 10 o'clock tonight, and tomorrow morning Alan Brazil and Ali McCoy are back together. Ronnie O'Sullivan is going to be on the show from 6 o'clock in the morning. Tom Skinner of Apprentice and social media fame, big West Ham fan, will be on as well to discuss the Hammers game against AZ. Here's Salamakis wandering into the box, trying to take on the entire Inter defence. Doesn't quite manage to do that. And Dumfries travels outside of the box on the right side with it. Back in by Teo Hernandez. Drops on the edge of the area for Tonali. Mkhitaryan nudges it away. Free kick given against Tonali. There'll be a bit of this now, I think, as well.
Yeah, definitely. And why not? But having said that, it's a half that Inter don't want to end. I think they'd rather just go through at the moment and just play a solid, straight 90 minutes, because they're in the ascendancy. Half times can often change the dynamic game greatly. Not just because the managers get a chance to change things tactically or maybe personnel, but it interrupts the flow of the game massively, and it's so one-sided at the moment.
The scoreline reflects that. It could be worse, because there was a penalty that was given for Lautaro Martinez that was overturned by the VAR in that first 45 minutes, of which we've got 4 added minutes at the end of this first half.
The decision for Inter will be, do we go for the kill? Do we go for 3? Do we go for 4 goals in this game because they are so on top at the moment? Or do they say, well, actually, we'll take 2 and we'll sit back a little bit? I think that's going to be the decision the manager's going to have to make at half-time.
Yellow card coming out here for Radi Krunic.
For complaining, it must be.
I think it was complaining because he felt that Brahim Diaz had got arm in the face from Mkhitaryan.
He gave a free kick, didn't he?
And no action was taken in Mkhitaryan's direction.
It's accidental.
It's completely accidental. Brahim Diaz certainly made the most of it. And then for arguing with the referee immediately pulled a yellow card out of his pocket. And I think actually he's handled the game very well, the referee, in the intense circumstances, the white-hot heat of a Milan derby for a place in the Champions League final. Needed a strong referee, and certainly so far tonight we've had one. Tonali to take the free kick then, dead centre of the Inter half. He flips it forward down the left to Giroud, takes it on his chest in the left corner of the penalty area, back to Salamakis, and then steered forward by Giroud, but there was nothing really he could do with that. And frustratedly turns and looks out towards the near side, and then you see Rafael Leao again just sort of clawing at his eyes. He can't quite believe what he's seen in the opening 45 minutes.
Well, if he's hoping to be fit for the second leg, he's got to be thinking, for goodness sake, just stay in the game. he can have an impact of any sort, at least give him a chance. Can't let it get any worse than this.
Inter haven't really been creating as many chances as they were when they were frantic in the early part of the season, but they have been building a lot slower with a bit of purpose, and recently they've scored more as a result of that. They've been more ruthless, and that defence of Darmian, Acerbi and Bastoni has really looked a proper unit recently. That's now the defence that AC Milan are going to have to try and pierce. Barella into the penalty area, watched by Krunic, tries to toss the ball square, and the accusation was that he took it out of play before crossing it.
This would have been interesting, Sam. Look, there's a little nudge there.
There is from Krunic.
Yeah, if Barella had gone down, possible penalty?
There's certainly more contact there than maybe there was involving Lautaro Martinez. But I still thought that was a penalty. Mkhitaryan's been booked eventually for that challenge on Brahim Diaz. That's just been confirmed in the final few seconds of the first half. And it remains 2-0 to Inter. Bastoni away. Collected by Lautaro Martinez, who then gives it away cheaply and wins it back again.
But look at their hunger to win the ball back. So much more than what AC Milan have had so far.
Salamakis jumps in field. Challenge comes in from Acerbi. Back to halfway. Teo Hernandez. Very scattergun approach from Milan in this first half. Into the 4th minute of added time. Junior Messias down the right-hand side. His cross is over the head of Andre Nana, who looked a little bit erratic there. And it comes down on this near side, and it goes out for a throw-in. Well, I think Pioli's definitely got quite a bit of work to do at half-time. He's already had to make one switch when Benacer was taken off in the first 20 minutes of the game because of injury. He's got to think about how he's going to solve a problem like a 2-0 deficit in the first leg of a semi-final at home. Good luck with that. Dumfries down the right-hand side, and there is the half-time whistle. Well, Milano has given us the world's greatest opera house, high fashion, Gazzetta dello Sport, Panettone and Paolo Maldini, and 2 brilliant Inter goals in a 10-minute blitz which put AC Milan on the back foot. It has stunned the San Siro, well, most of it, and at the moment Inter have the advantage in the semi-final. Only a quarter of the way through the tie, and I think Mike Maignan is travelling off the pitch absolutely delighted that at half-time it's only Milan 0, Inter 2.
Well, if you were to write a manual on how not to deal with a huge Champions League semi-final, that was it. The instructions come from AC Milan. They were second best at everything. A lack of composure, no possession, no creativity. A lack of bite, really, for a match of this magnitude. They have allowed their city rivals to dominate them. And if they have woken up now, if this tie is going to be as tight as we maybe expected beforehand for the remaining game and a half, then it could already be over, frankly. Edin Dzeko with a powerful volley after 8 minutes. Another former Premier League face in Henrik Mkhitaryan, given the freedom of the San Siro to waltz through to make it 2-0 on 11 minutes. Things could have been worse, really. Hakan Çalhanoğlu hit a post from distance. Lautaro Martinez awarded a penalty, which was overturned on VAR. At the break, though, it is Inter Milan who have a big advantage and a couple of toes, if not a full foot, into the Champions League final, as far as I'm concerned, at least. Danny Mills, who's been watching on, what can you say, really, about AC Milan? They just weren't ready for this game. As soon as Dzeko's goal hit the back of the net, they totally seized up.
They've been all over the place. It's been a really poor display. They're fortunate that it's only 2-0. At this stage, you know, if the coach, the manager can make changes tactically, mentally at half-time, and even if they can keep it to 2-0, they'll still have a chance in the second leg, but they're going to have to play better than this. They've been really, really poor. They've played as a team of individuals up to now. The defence has been non-existent, absolutely all over the place. And, you know, you mentioned Tomori, why he's not in the England team. Well, if that's 45 minutes of a Champions League semi-final, that's why. Simple as that. Dzeko's running ragged at the age of 37. You know, that's a real problem. Sam mentioned about what's he going to be like if he comes up against Erling Haaland. Well, I think Erling Haaland will be absolutely licking his lips, you know, at that thought. But AC Milan are going to have to go some distance now and some change in performance to get anywhere close to getting through.
Dzeko's third goal in his last 2 games. He hadn't scored in 20 games before that. Mkhitaryan, as I mentioned, getting on the score sheet tonight. That's his first goal in 13 matches. And as you mentioned, the defence really not just from Tomori, Danny, from AC Milan. It was an easier goal as you'll see at this level in a game of this magnitude. Milan, as you mentioned, all over the place. Midfield, it's not just the defence. Nowhere to be found.
Well, 2 centre-halves have gone missing. 2 central midfield players have gone missing. And every single time that Inter have gone forward, they look like they're going to score. And they haven't had to play amazing football. City in the first half an hour last night were exceptional. On the front foot, quick, slick passing. Great movement, creating chances. Inter Milan have created just as many chances, and they've played okay. That's the difference. This has been all about how poor I think AC Milan have been, rather than how good Inter have been at the moment. But Inter will certainly take it. They look a much better unit. They look more organised. They've got more bite about them. It's going to have to be some big changes at half time.
Was the referee, Jesus Manzano of Spain, correct to overturn his penalty call? It could end up at the end of this tie being a key moment for a foul by Simon Kjær on Martinez. What did you make of it?
I think it's very, very surprising that it was overturned. From what we've seen and the replays that we've seen, it's not a clear and obvious error. You can't say there's definitely no contact. If contact is minimal, he's at full pace. He's gone past one player, he's cut inside the other, he's the meat in the sandwich. One more touch and he gets a free shot at goal. Simple as that. So you start thinking, well, why would he go down in that situation? Where he's likely to score. I'm not even sure he's the penalty taker. So, again, I was a little bit surprised that it was overturned. It's maybe one of those that if he doesn't give it, you say, well, is there enough contact? But I don't think it's clear and obvious enough to overturn it. But that might be a touch of fortune that AC Milan needed. Yeah,
there was a kind of grab from Kjær to the torso of Martinez. Didn't see much there, but as you pointed out during commentary, there could have been a little clip on the foot, on the heel of Martinez as he ran through. And the big question mark for the Inter fans, I imagine, watching at home and in the stadium would have been, if he wasn't fouled, why not just shoot? Why not just score? Why not just put us 3 up? So I think they will maybe feel a little bit aggrieved about that being overturned. And just finally, Danny, before we move on, because there's a big second half still ahead of us, just a penny for the thoughts of these 2 managers. What does the Milan boss, Stefano Pioli, say to his players now? And what does the Inter boss, Simone Inzaghi, say to his players? Should Inter go for the jugular? Should Pioli be thinking, I need to change things now tactically?
I think he's got to change it. He has to change something, whether that's formation or personnel. He's got to do something to change the mentality of the team and turn the tide, effectively, because it is one-way traffic at the moment. From an Inter point of view, it's a difficult one. It's like there's an opportunity to go for the jugular, to really kill this game off, to get 3, maybe even 4. But you don't want to do that and leave yourselves exposed at the back and concede one. So it's a tricky decision about what they do in this scenario. Do they come out and really go for it? Or do they say, you know what, 2-0's enough. We'll take that going into the second tie. If we nick one from a set piece or a breakaway, then fine. But 2-0 is actually a really good result. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach the second half.
We shall see. Danny Mills and Sam Atapace back with you for second half commentary at the San Siro very, very soon. But a huge first half from Inter Milan, who've been fantastic, sees them lead their city rivals AC Milan by 2-0 at the break. Second half on the way live here on Talksport. Before we move on, full time in the WSL this evening at Broadfield, and it's a big victory for Arsenal. Charlotte Richardson.
It finishes Chelsea 6, Leicester 0. The rain is pouring and so have the goals. Jelena Kankovic's stunning strike finishes the game on a high 6, and that is significant as Chelsea level up on goal difference with current league leaders Manchester United. Not only that, but Chelsea closed the gap on United at the top of the Women's Super League to just 1 point, courtesy of such a dominant display against relegation-threatened Leicester. Guru Wrighton broke the deadlock with a sliding finish before Erin Cuthbert's 50th goal for the Blues doubled their lead. Pernilla Harder's brace had Chelsea 4-0 up and cruising at half-time. The Foxes fought more aggressively second half and restricted their hosts throughout most of that second period before a trademark magic moment from Lauren James added gloss and then Kankovic's fine finisher. This title race is on, and it is advantage Chelsea. Full time here, it's Chelsea 6, Leicester 0.
And of course, I should get my fixtures and my stadiums right. Let's go to Broadfield now, where I can assure you there has been a big victory for Arsenal, or at least they're well on the way. What's the latest? Ian Abrahams.
Still Brighton 0, Arsenal 4 as it was at half-time, Hugh. One-sided, to say the least, though Brighton have forced Zinsberger into a couple of saves in the second half. 2 early goals from Blackstenius, then goals from Frida Manum, and then just before half-time as well, Victoria Pelova. They could have had 2 more in the second half, at least, Arsenal, and should have had 1 seconds ago. Catherine Cool inside the penalty area, literally one-on-one with the goalkeeper, tried to put it to Megan Walsh's left-hand side, and the keeper, who was badly at fault for the 4th Arsenal goal, this time atoned with what was a really good save. Got a band here as well. I'm not sure why they're in the main stand, but they do pipe up every now and again. There's a bloke with a trombone, one with a trumpet, one with a guitar, and 2 drummers. Maybe it's the Beatles. So Brighton 0, Arsenal 4.
Ian, thank you very much. So, can AC Milan claw themselves back? Maybe not a result, but certainly some pride and respect, because at the break, in their home leg in the Champions League semi-final, they trail their city rivals by 2 goals. At the break, live on Talksport, AC Milan 0, Internazionale 2. You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. You can play at ladbrokes.com. It's 18+, begambleaware.org.
Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+, begambleaware.org.
At Adrian Flux, we offer value for money specialist insurance for all kinds of vans and commercial vehicles. From couriers and caterers to plumbers, chippies, and even Mr. Whippies. Last year, our customers saved an average of 21% with a cost-effective, expertly tailored policy from Adrian Flux. Get van insurance that works hard for you and your business. Visit adrianflux.co.uk to get a call back today. Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual.
I'm Julius Caesar, an emperor, not a tradesperson. But if I was, I'd be on Checkatrade. 8 out of 10 homeowners surveyed would choose a tradesperson from Checkatrade over one that isn't. And they guarantee jobs for a year. Book your job today at up to £1,000. T's and C's apply.
City Volkswagen.
Hi, I want to inquire about your Volkswagen spring sale event.
Sure, we've got great offers on Polos, Golfs and T-Rocks.
Really?
Yes, get £1,500 towards your PCP finance deposit on a Polo, £2,000 on a Golf and £2,500 on a T-Rock at 6.9% APR representative.
I'm on my way.
Plus 2 free services.
I'll be there soon.
No need to run, sir. The offer is available until Monday the 22nd.
Nearly there. Oh, my hamstring's gone.
These great offers start Friday 12th until Monday 22nd of May, so search the Volkswagen Spring Sale event. Golf performance and e-hybrid models excluded. Indemnities may be required. Volkswagen Finance.
Mourinho, Rooney, Arsene Wenger and more. Fever Pitch is the unmissable new star-studded documentary of how the English Premier League was transformed by a new breed of ruthless billionaire owners. Hear all 4 gripping episodes reviewed, critiqued and analysed on Fever Pitch Review with Hawksby and Jacobs, all this week from 1 on Talksport. And watch every episode of the brand new original series Fever Pitch, The Battle for the Premier League, streaming on Paramount Plus now.
Gallagher Premiership Rugby's most competitive, highest scoring season ever is about to reach its climax. The semi-finals have arrived. This weekend, Saracens face Northampton Saints on Saturday and Sale Sharks take on Leicester Tigers on Sunday. Only 2 teams will progress to the final showdown at Twickenham. The Gallagher Premiership Rugby Semi-Finals 2023. Glory awaits. Find out more at premiershiprugby.com.
Are you tired of uninteresting, uninformed conversations posing as podcasts? I'm Simon Jordan, and up front with William Hill challenge the biggest names in sport.
He is obviously not a leader. It's as plain as the nose on the end of your face.
There's your queen. It's all very well when she's talking about it, but when someone else is trying to justify it, you don't want to know.
I've done my studying into boxing, the dangers and what can happen. 1.1 million punches have been punched in the head.
For a show that cuts through the nonsense and gets straight to the point, search for Upfront on Spotify and YouTube.
Champions League live on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and C's and eligibility criteria apply.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
What a goal!
UEFA Champions League football.
A brilliant goal!
live on Talksport.
We expected it to be a tight and tense encounter. It hasn't really been that so far. AC Milan have lost their last 2 games against Inter to 0, and they are heading that way once again this evening. Inter Milan 2 up, thanks to former Manchester City frontman Edin Dzeko and a former Manchester United winger in the shape of Henrik Mkhitaryan. Second half on the way very, very shortly. But let's check how those goals have affected the halftime odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Jess O'Reilly joins us once again. I kind of raised an eyebrow at your pre-match predictions, but they seem to be coming true so far.
Well, look, I mean, should have been 3, 4, 5-0, really. Milan just haven't been at the races. They're out to a whopping 33-1 now. Needless to say, absolutely no takers there. And I guess Spurs fans must be watching this game being like, how on earth did we go out to these jokers? But
I think they probably know.
It is Spurs, yeah, let's be honest. Inter are 16-1 on. Very, very short. Obviously, the draw is in there at 11s. Look, it's hard to see anything now other than an Inter victory. They flew out of the traps, which we didn't really expect. Giroud was starting to knock on the door a bit there at the end of that first half. He is 6-1 to get the next goal of the game. He's basically a flip of the coin odds-wise if anyone from Inter will score. AC will score for both teams scoring tonight. 6-5 says Inter win with both teams scoring. The 2-1 scoreline to take it into their home fixture is around the 5-1 mark. But if you think the floodgates have opened now and the Milan are completely out of it, 18-5 for a 3-0 victory or a big old 10-1 for 4-0. But yeah, all about Inter.
Jess, thank you very much. Those were the latest odds with Ladbrokes. You can play at ladbrokes.com, 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
One piece of news to bring you from the Championship a little bit earlier on this evening. Watford confirmed the appointment of Valerian Ismail as their new head coach. The former West Brom and Barnsley manager, most recently in Turkey with Besiktas, who he left in October. And on the appointment, Watford's technical director Ben Manga said being able to appoint a new coach so soon in May means that we can prepare very well together for next season, and they will need to do so after a very disappointing campaign. Just looking at the San Siro, the players making their way back out for the second half, the Inter players with a spring in their step, and there are lots of conversations going on amongst the Milan players. They've been way off it tonight, and they will need to do something pretty special in the second half if they're to head into the second leg next week level. 2 goals down at the break. Could be another stunning second half live on Talksport. I'll leave you for commentary with the former England defender Danny Mills and our very own Sam Matterface.
Well, this match is locally referred to as the Derby della Manondina, after the statue of the Virgin Mary, which sits atop of the Duomo in Milan's heart. There'll be 1 or 2 prayers to the divine at half-time if you are of Milan persuasion. It is a city famous for its wonderful architecture, terrific shopping, high-class fashion, and the best piadina you can get outside your mate's restaurant in Harrogate.
Very nice.
And over the last 30 years, there have been 60 Milan derbies in Serie A, 24 home wins, 21 away wins, and 15 draws. And that suggests that there isn't much home advantage in this competition. Certainly, Danny, there was no home advantage in that first 45 minutes.
Definitely not. A huge disadvantage, wasn't it? For whatever reason, they came out and they looked like rabbits in headlights, effectively. Going to be really interested now to see what happens in this second half. No personnel changes, so what are they going to do tactically, what are they going to do mentally to turn it around?
We'll find out as we start the second half with no changes for either team, and it's blue and black shirts for Inter attacking the goal away to our left in the second half with white shorts and white socks. It's the black and red, the Rossoneri, attacking the goal away to our right. The ball immediately launched into the box by Theo Hernandez. It's half cleared by Inter. Tomori went down as the ball runs out towards the left-hand side and through the penalty area and out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. So this is the Milan lineup. Mike Manuel is the goalkeeper. Davide Calabria, the captain at right back, Simon Kier, Tomori and Theo Hernandez, the back four. Radi Krunic, who's been booked, and Tonali holding in midfield, with Benather replaced in the first half by Junior Messias, meaning that Brahim Diaz has gone more centrally. Messias has gone out to the right, Salamak is nominally on the left, and Giroud through the centre. Inter have got Onana in goal, Darmian and Cherby and Bastoni as the back three, and then it's Dumfries, Barella, Mkhitaryan who's been booked, and DiMarco, Çalhanoğlu behind Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez. Having watched that penalty a couple of times more, are we still absolutely certain that it was the right call?
No. If there's contact, it's minimal, but that doesn't mean it's not a penalty.
I've seen some pundits say there was no contact and it was absolute dive, and that the Argentine was conning the referee. Is that how you saw it?
Well, they've seen different angles to what I've seen. He's in between two players. He gets sandwiched. He's trying to sort of avoid Tomori, who's sat on the floor. Kerr is behind him, who's got a little bit of shirt, I think might just clip his heel. Again, it's arguable, what is enough to go down at that speed? But he's through on goal. He's in the clear. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, 12 yards out. It's basically a penalty anyhow that he's got. Why would you go down?
Theo Hernandez delivers the ball towards the far post from the free kick. There was a push inside the area by Giroud on Calabria. And the free kick is given as that set piece was delivered. And there will be quite a lot, I think, of this sort of exaggeration of falls, extra drama every time anybody gets anything remotely like contact, as this game will be delayed and managed and elongated between now and the end of the 90 minutes. The last 5 matches have been Inter-dominated. The only win for Milan was back in September when they won a crazy game 3-2. Look at Andrea Pirlo, who's sitting watching this game tonight. He would add a little bit of composure to that Milan midfield, wouldn't he?
Probably still would. It's the answer.
Pioli's Milan, who were Italian champions last year after an 11-year title drought, won the first derby meeting of the campaign, but subsequently actually have lost twice, 3-0 in the Italian Super Cup in January, and then 1-0 in February in Serie A. Martinez and Dzeko on the score sheet. They both scored twice against them this season, and actually trying to avoid an unwanted record, Milan, by going 3 games in a row without scoring against their city rivals. Ball runs loose inside the middle of the Milan half, and then Brahim Diaz brings it forward towards the edge of the area. Left-footed shot which arcs towards the far corner, but despite the fact that he looked as if he was scrambling for a second, Onana was always the favourite to get there. It goes beyond the post and out for a goal kick, but a brighter start to the second half, as you would expect, I think, from Milan. They've at least come up with a response.
Yeah, they had to. Well, they couldn't be any worse, could they? As that shot comes in, I think Onana knows it's going wide. He has that sort of half-hearted attempt to dive at it, knows that it's not going to hit the target.
And today that Erik ten Hag, we know, is a big fan of Andre Onana, his ability to play out from the back, but Maurizio Pochettino, who is expected to be named very shortly as the new Chelsea manager, not so much of a fan, despite the fact that there is quite a hefty link between that club and him. We shall see how that pans out. I'm sure Chelsea don't have that much money to spend this summer.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's talking they're after a goalkeeper. Kepa's not the worst in the world, and they've got Mendy. I just, surely you can make one of those into a decent goalkeeper. Mendy was on fire for a while, wasn't he?
Mendy's got massive wingspan. He's a brilliant shot stopper. He had his wobbles as well with playing out from the back. Kepa's very well intentioned and has worked incredibly hard with the goalkeeping coach Ben Roberts, but I don't think he's really got the stature, presence and personality to be a goalkeeper that's going to help you challenge at the top.
But who looking around, who has? There aren't many keepers out there that can do it all, are there?
Ball played out towards the right hand side, and Junior Messias is charging into the area for Milan. He curls his shot, left footed towards the far corner. He got no whip on it at all, had no arc on the shot. It went well wide of goal, but that's the first real time that they've looked to open up the inter-defence. The defence-splitting pass by Tonali was beautifully executed down the right-hand side. He fed the ball towards the left edge of the right edge of the area, coming on his left foot. Messias tried to curl it to the far corner, but it had absolutely no bend on it, and it went straight out for a goal kick.
Yeah, he forgot to curl it. That was the only problem with it. It was in acres of space. It was a great run. He's got to do better. He's got to at least hit the target and make Onana make a save in that situation.
Didn't have to, and it remains 2-0 to Inter, but there's a little bit more encouragement for Milan. Just wonder whether or not going forward with such purpose may end up seeing them caught on the counter. And Inter have won the ball on the far side, the right, as they look at it. They move in towards the central position. Varela up towards Martinez, who gets around Kier and eventually funneled away by Tomori. Here is Cherby, gets it back towards the edge of the penalty area, and Inter have got it again. I thought we might see a change in formation at half-time. We haven't seen that so far from Milan.
No, very surprised. And this is where if Inter will really want to go for the jugular and want to go and kill this game off, get it to 3, maybe even 4, it's a real opportunity for them.
Big chance. It was a surprising start to the match. Martinez plays the 1-2 with Tomori. I think Tomori did hold him up on the edge of the halfway line. The referee is having none of it. And eventually it goes back towards the halfway line again, and Inter have turned it over, and they've moved the ball quickly down the right side towards the edge of the penalty area. Through the box it goes, the flick away by Kier. And Mkhitaryan trying to win it. Lays out towards the right. It's won back by Mkhitaryan once again, and then picked up by centre-back Bastoni, who charges through, and his defence seems to open up for him, and he's fed Dzeko up against the goalkeeper, who comes out and deflects the ball high into the air and over the top, and once again that Milan defence evaporated, and Dzeko was allowed to wander through after initially Bastoni charged through the heart of the Milan team, and Tomori lost sight of Dzeko, and Dzeko just couldn't come up with the requisite finish. It should be at least 3-0.
Dzeko just needed to lift it over the goalkeeper, but yet again, where was the AC Milan midfield? The two holding midfield players, two centre midfielders, disappeared completely. Tomori then got sucked in. Got to stay with Dzeko. Where's the danger? It's the man nearest the goal. Dzeko's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, tries to roll it into the corner, just needed to lift it very slightly, and it was 3-0.
Here is Çalhanoğlu with the delivery into the box from the corner, away by Theo Hernandez, back out to Di Marco, and then Martinez tries to steal in behind the defence and get something on the ball, didn't quite catch it, and it flicks behind and away for a goal kick away to our left. It's 15 minutes past 10 locally in Italy, 15 minutes past 9 in the UK, and there's only 53 minutes of what could be a possible 210 minutes of action in the Champions League semi-final, over 2 legs and possibly extra time. But after just 53, Inter are firmly in charge by 2-0. There is a long way to go. And, last year in the semi-final of the Coppa Italia, when these two met, the game was very constricted, it was contained, it was pretty dull really. Inzaghi doesn't mind managing the game, and I'm sure he feels now as if it's the right time to manage the game, being 2-0 up, making sure that he doesn't open the door for Milan to sneak back into the tie. Have you seen anything in the 54 minutes so far that would trouble Manchester City or Real Madrid in a month or so's time?
No. Sorry, no, just in case you didn't hear that. It was very short, very sharp, but no is the answer.
Thanks for reiterating.
Both of those teams would beat both of these quite easily on tonight's performance.
Danny Mills, the former Champions League semi-finalist, England World Cup quarter-finalist in 2002, with us tonight bringing Champions League action from the San Siro. Here's Junior Messias of Milan. Crossfield ball towards the edge of the penalty, and Tonali drags his shot from distance well wide of the goal.
No belief or confidence, Sam, is there, in anything that they're doing?
As soon as he shaped up to that, you could see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
He didn't believe that he had the ability to find the corner of the net. Ibrahimovic is getting vocal. He would love to be involved tonight. There's a few old stagers in the crowd tonight who think they probably could have had a little bit more composure to this Milan team, whose frenetic start to the game, evaporation in defence, has gifted their city rivals a very healthy lead. Here is Çalhanoğlu getting in the way of Dzeko, but managing to keep hold of the ball. Interesting to watch Çalhanoğlu now and how he's displaying his wares, Danny. He was very much a winger and attacking midfielder when he was across the city with Milan. Now in the blue and black of Inter, he's been deployed as a more deeper lying playmaker. He creates from that sort of distance, but he gets around the park well. He's really applied himself well this season.
Well, I think that's the fact that the game has changed, isn't it? And the way you've seen the game evolve over the past few seasons. You don't have to be that combative midfield player anymore. You know, look like what N'Golo Kante was when he was at Leicester. You don't see too many of them around anymore. It's all about controlling the ball, keeping possession. If you've got the ability to do that, you can play in many different positions, I think. As long as you've got enough nous and awareness to be in the right positions at the right time defensively.
Mkhitaryan playing in that position as well, which is quite sensational, really, bearing in mind where he started as well. Dzeko picking the ball up just short of the halfway line. Martinez is ahead of him. He runs forward, takes the ball on, and then passes it down towards the edge of the area. Tries to beat Kjær for pace, but Kjær had just approached that in the perfect way, cut off the angle, and managed to get there ahead of Lautaro Martinez. Trying to clear from the left full-back position. It's ball clear by Theo Hernandez. Through the middle of the park it goes up to halfway. And then further out towards his right-hand side. But we now will see Malik Thiaw, who's about to come on, the central defender. Calabria moving infield for Milan. 2-0 into lead away from home, at home. Brahim Diaz wanders centrally. Nudges it into midfield where Rade Kramjic is waiting for it. It's a poor ball out to the far side. He gets jeered by his own supporters. Salamakis takes over, gets to the edge of the penalty area, produces a cross. Easy catch for Onana. It'll be cleared away. Milan 0, Inter 2. You're listening to Talksport Live in the Champions League tonight with Till by NatWest, the card payment partner that works hard for your business. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, you can listen to Alan and Ali as they bring you all the reaction from the Champions League. Look ahead to a big night for the Hammers in Europe as they take on RZ. I was taught by Kevin Hatchard this week that RZ Alkmaar is just basically like repeating yourself. So it's just RZ. Otherwise you're saying Alkmaar twice. Here is Dzeko down the left side, trying to curl it round the corner. Comes off Kjær, out for a throw.
You learn something new every day, son.
It's always good too. Divock Origi coming on, and Malik Thiaw. As AC Milan make their second and third substitutions of the night. And we'll see who comes off. Simon Kjær. It's a like-for-like change for Thiaw for Kjær. A little bit of experience sacrificed there to put Thiaw against Tomori. And Salamakis coming off Origi. Will that mean change of shape, or do you think Origi will operate just in from the left?
I can't see him change the shape. You would have thought, generally, if you're going to change the shape, you do that at half-time, where you can get the tactics brought up. It's interesting, because I think the left-back, Salamakis, has been one of the better players going forward. At least he's had a go. He's tried to create something. So I think it would just be, I think it's like for like.
I'm interested to see what happens with Thiaw and Tomori and how they contain Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez. Two very young players. Malik Thiaw only 21 from Finland. He's just been penalised for a rough and tumble with DiMarco. He's had a very good season. Federico DiMarco was an Inter fan actually in the San Siro 20 years ago. He came to the semi-final when these two met in the Champions League, and he says he remembers going home that day feeling very upset. He's had a better evening tonight than he had the last time. Half an hour gone to go. Talksport on the road to Istanbul. These two teams want to be there. Join one of Manchester City or Real Madrid when they meet next Wednesday live on Talksport. And the second leg of this game next Tuesday night will be on Talksport 2. Ball play back towards halfway. Sent into the fit of Malik Thiaw. Calabria, Malik once again, and then square to Fikayo Tomori. Still no shots on target for the home team. Ball played through the middle, a little exchange of passes. Well done to Krunic, who steams forward. Across comes DiMarco, does brilliantly to take it off him, and then Giroud wins it back, commits a foul on Mkhitaryan. I think it might have popped up and hit his hand, actually. Teo Hernandez is complaining to the Spanish referee, but he's not going to change his mind.
He's running through, looking like he's going to shoot, and he wanted the foul, didn't he? It's like he wasn't confident enough to take the shot on. He was waiting for somebody to come along and try and get a foul out of it. And it just... no belief, no confidence.
Well, these two Italian giants have won 36 league titles and 10 Champions League titles between them. The only other times they've met in the knockout stages of this competition, 2003, 2005. The latter was a forgettable situation marred by disorder. And Milan did go through on both occasions. A bit more control being added to the midfield now. Mkhitaryan being replaced by Brozovic.
Again, it's all about experience, isn't it? You know, bringing players on. When you look at what Real Madrid have, and you know their midfield, how old they are. Look at the players on show. You know, Dzeko has been absolutely brilliant tonight, holding the ball. Mkhitaryan's been fantastic. Experience at the top level in these big games is absolutely vital.
Ball played up towards Dzeko, trying to tuck it around the corner for DiMarco. DiMarco on halfway, whips it forward. Tomori flicks it on, and Dumfries is coming in behind here, and Manuel has to come out of his goal and get something on it to manage to clear it up towards the far end of the pitch, where Divock Origi wins it for Milan. Moves it infield, lovely little pass into Brahim Diaz, who squares it back to goal towards Giroud. Then Tonali with a strike, it's the outside of the post from the edge of the 18-yard box. A lovely Milan move, the best of the game. Worked by Origi really well down the left-hand side. He cut in, played a reverse pass to Brahim Diaz, who found Giroud. He tucked it back to the edge of the area. Tonali was waiting. His right-footed effort, cannon on the outside of the post.
Great play from Giroud. Fabulous hold-up play and awareness to pick out Tonali on the edge of the box. And he hits a stunning shot. I think Tomori could be in trouble here. He's just gone steaming into Edin Dzeko, and he's late. At least a yellow card.
Yeah, well, the referee stopped the game. Dzeko is down, and there is an inquest going on. We'll go off to full time in the game at Broadfield. Ian Abrahams.
It finished Brighton 0, Arsenal 4. All the goals in the first half. 2 for Black Stenius inside the opening 8 minutes, and then Frida Malam and Victoria Palova before half-time. Arsenal up to third and a Champions League spot. Brighton 0, Arsenal 4.
Earlier on tonight, Chelsea won 6-0 to close the gap on Manchester United, and not only close the gap on Manchester United, but eat into their goal difference. It was a huge night in the Women's Super League. Chelsea had to try their best to try and score as many goals as possible. They have done that. They've levelled the goal difference, 42 each now, plus 42 each. 1 point between them, and Chelsea have a game in hand over Manchester United. The way things are at this moment in time, if they were to draw that game in hand, they'd be in front in the table because of goals scored. It's going to go down to the wire, and of course the two teams meet on Sunday live on Talksport in the Women's FA Cup final from 2 o'clock this Sunday. I'll be live at Wembley with Joe Shannon and Leanne Sanderson as we take you around the grounds in the Premier League and bring you commentary of that showpiece event.
Just going back to the Tonali chance, I thought I'd lost it. It was great play from Olivier Giroud to hold the ball up and pick him out on the edge of the box.
Oh, lovely little footwork by Origi to go down the left-hand side. He's taken on Brozovic. He's got into a left-wing position looking for Diaz. He can't pull it back to him. Bastoni was aware of it. And then eventually, despite the pressure from Junior Messias, Inter bring it clear. What Inter don't want to do is just open the door for Milan and a way back into this encounter.
And this is why I said it's difficult. There's clearly going to be a reaction from AC Milan. And that shot from Tonali was very unlucky to hit the post. He had a touch, I thought the chance was gone. Still did very well to hit the sort of the half volley. He might have taken the tiniest of deflections. Not sure it would have made much difference still at the post, but the substitutes have made an impact as well. And that's what I said, Inter, the last thing they need is half-time.
Diaz, low cross in towards the near post. Bastoni blocks it. Gannon's out and goes out for a corner kick. The first of the second 45. And the first for Brahim, Diaz and Tonali to deal with. Try and cultivate a chance.
They've got to be careful they don't get hit on the counter-attack.
It's a real possibility. Malik Thiaw is up from the back, came very close at the weekend with a header from a corner kick from Tonali, who delivers this one in towards the near post. It's aimed in towards Thiaw, away by Dzeko. Collected on the near side by Tonali. He's got Calabria in support. He plays it towards the edge of the centre circle instead. He was rushed immediately by Brozovic, but played it wide. Tonali's got it again, midway inside opposition territory. Sends it towards Giroud, headed away by Acerbi. Comes out, Dzeko gets it clear. Brozovic coming forward, looks up, sees Martinez in front of him, and also making a run. Barella, he stops, holds onto the ball. So experienced, so sharp, so immediately into the game. Çalhanoğlu in towards Brozovic, moving forward, plays it out wide towards the left-hand side. Collected by Di Marco. He can't squeeze it down the touchline. And Romelu Lukaku is about to come on for Inter Milan.
I'd suggest give Edin Dzeko a rest, I'd have thought. And again, it just plays maybe into their hands, playing on the counter-attack, a little bit more pace from Romelu Lukaku.
67 gone, Milan 0, Inter 2 on Talksport. Tomorrow night we've got West Ham against RZ. Friday night playoff action from League One. Saturday game day is back, bringing you live commentaries from the Premier League and the EFL. It's the playoff season, the silly season of the playoffs. We love the playoffs. Get into full swing.
Yeah, you'll never hear me say a bad word about the playoffs.
Fantastic, we love it. I mean, I can't wait till the end of I've already got my plans sorted out, my travel plans, my hotel plans for the playoff finals, all three of them this year, although there's a suggestion that we might have to
that's because you know you're going. Some of those teams haven't decided yet. They've got to wait, they've got to play a semi-final first, and you're going no matter what.
Let me tell you something, if you want to get a hotel at Wembley around that time of year, you make sure you book it well before the fans know that they're going. Here's Çalhanoğlu.
You've booked two, haven't you?
Onto Acerbi, edge of the area, left-footed drive straight down the throat of the goalkeeper Manuel, and it's cleared away. I should have done that. Could have made a few quick, couldn't I?
There you go. You see,
that's you got business sense. 69 minutes gone. Milan 0, Inter 2. Talksport. Ball clip forward. It's going to go straight down and play away to our right-hand side, and Inter will be able to kill the game. You know, these two teams actually are spawned from the same club, and they were formed as a cricket and a football association club by a Nottingham-born man back in 1899. And that's why they used the English spelling of the name Milan in AC Milan as opposed to Milano. Here on the right side is Junior Messias, comes to the edge of the area. It's struck by Malik Thiaw, who's joining from the back. It's cleared away and out towards this near side. Collected by Tonali.
Have they always had a ground share because of that then?
No. They shared a ground. Obviously, they were the same club. And then when they splintered because there was a row about the number of non-Italian players that were playing in the football club. And there was a lot of Swiss people that were members of the club who felt as if they were being ostracised, so hence they formed Internazionale, because they wanted to be able to bring in players from elsewhere.
Swiss money was talking, wasn't it? That's what it was.
And then they went off and played at a rather sort of neoclassical arena around the corner, which is still being used by the sort of third team in Milan now. And then it was only after the Second World War, I think 1947, that they ended up sharing the San Siro, which then became the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium.
It's the San Siro, and it will always be the San Siro. Simple as that.
Dzeko off and Romelu Lukaku on.
That was a fairly easy prediction, that one, wasn't it?
Step at the right for Federico Di Marco. The other change. Worked his socks off over recent weeks. Federico Di Marco scored at the weekend win over Roma. Here is Bastoni charging again, right the way through the middle of the pitch, dragging his team up the turf, sends it left, and it's flicked down the touchline by Çalhanoğlu. Lukaku plays it against Fikayo Tomori. His two former Chelsea teammates combining down by the corner flag. Lukaku never short of a word or two. He's encouraging his teammates to press high up inside opposition territory. Martinez never needs any encouragement to do that. And a cameraman got just a little bit too close to the pitch there, and Lautaro Martinez just pushed his camera away. Cleared from right fullback by Calabria.
I mean, cameraman basically did have his toes on the touchline.
Yeah, which is a bit naughty, I thought, actually. Be a bit careful.
Yeah, it's getting a bit silly now. Free kick's been given. Chanoglu has turned his back, and then Tonali's just smashed it straight into him to try and get him booked.
19 minutes to go. Milan 0, Inter 2. And this will be a very firm lead for Inter should they come back here next week. But as we've seen recently,
they're still in the tie.
They're still very much in the tie. Anything can happen.
Gets to 3, Sam, and you're pretty much beyond it. It's very, very difficult. Because even if you get one back, you're thinking, well, there's still not an awful lot of hope within that.
The consensus of opinion is that Lautaro Martinez dived to try and win that penalty in the first half. But my brain is still telling me, why on earth would he have done that, bearing in mind they were 2-0 up and he had the opportunity to make it 3-0 just by literally sticking his left boot through the ball.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Again, I still think the pictures that we've seen are inconclusive.
Foul from behind on Çalhanoğlu, and there's
not enough for me to say it's a clear dive from the pictures we've seen, unless these other people have seen different
So the
pictures.
referee's made the decision given the penalty. You don't think the VAR should have overturned it?
I don't think there's enough to say it's
an error.
There's definitely no contact, and it's a blatant dive. I can't see that.
That debate will rage on, I'm sure. 18 minutes to go before the end of the game. Kick clear by Anana from inside his box. It bounces twice before Theo Hernandez, the left back for Milan, will get it under control. He plays it square to Malik Thiaw, and then on to Calabria, who travels up towards the halfway line, lends it to Tonali, gets it back, then Diaz plays it wide to Calabria once again. Here on this near side is Science Junior.
It's the same old thing with VAR though, isn't it? Because if he hadn't have given the penalty, I don't think there's enough to say that it's definitely the wrong decision and he should have given a penalty. It's one of those subjective ones that some will say yes, some will say no. It's a little bit inconclusive, but surely once he's given it, there isn't enough to overturn it.
Well, the VAR has taken charge in that situation.
Oh, definitely. And this is where we need to know what is being said to the official on the pitch as he's running over, because that was quite clearly, you've got this wrong, it's a dive.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that starting on Monday the 15th of May, the Premier League will be starting a new television show, which is At Home with the Referees.
Wow.
You get the opportunity to listen back to some of the great highlights of the weekend's VAR conversations.
Oh, fabulous.
You asked for it, they delivered. Here is Lukaku down the left-hand side, across into the box, headed away by Malik Thiaw. It bounces on the edge of the area, give it back to Lautaro Martinez, who sets it back up towards the edge of the area. Darmian with a strike, hits Thiaw and goes behind. I just wonder whether or not Lautaro Martinez should have swiveled and hit that first time. And when it came through to Matteo Darmian, he couldn't really get his feet sorted out to get a clean strike on goal. He didn't look comfortable. In the end, Malik Thiaw had to make the intervention and it goes out for a corner kick.
It's unselfish from Martinez, who sort of maybe just lost his foot a little bit, had to turn, gave it back to Darmian, but again, AC Milan defence absolutely all over the place.
Corner kick to be taken from the near side. Çalhanoğlu is going to deliver this into a very congested 6-yard box. There are 6 blue and black shirts, all being man-marked. Manuel comes across and manages to fingertip the ball away. Bastoni has gone down inside the area. The ball has been recycled over on the far side. It's been picked up by an Inter defender. The game has now been stopped so that Bastoni can be checked upon. He wants some sort of intervention here. We're getting a quick replay of it. There's nothing in that. There was certainly a lot of grappling going on. There was.
Yeah, it's
Krunic has given him a little thump in the chest. Why has he done that?
VAR gets involved. He's got to give a penalty.
He's going to give a red card and a penalty. That's what he's going to do.
It's incredibly soft.
Krunic is going to get a red card and a penalty. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't know what the VAR is doing.
They're playing on.
That is outrageous.
I don't even think they've looked at it. Oh, hang on. Or are they?
And they want a ball. There was a potential red card check. It's come up on my screen that I've got with communication with the VAR office. They say potential red card check. The referee's still saying hold on. And we haven't had a restart yet. It hasn't been cleared off my screen, but they have restarted the game. So I'm guessing, Danny, that they're not going to give the red card. Check over. Did they not see that thump in the middle of the chest?
Bizarre. Almost speechless.
Chawanoglu gets it back on the edge of the area. Comes off the hand of Malik Tiao. That looked like a handball just inside the box. It's cleared away towards halfway.
When does it home with the referee start?
Not at home with a European referee, sadly. But they are now got a penalty check for the handball.
I mean, it's ridiculous. To describe it, you know, they're grappling at the front post, and he gives him it's a little swing. It's not a full-blown haymaker, but it's a little punch with the knuckles of a closed fist. It's a strange one.
Listen, I'm not saying it was a massive
no, but
smack.
No, but it's a punch.
It's definitely it's violent conduct.
Yeah. I mean, it's
the check is over for the penalty again for the handball. Right. I mean, again, what's the point in commenting on handball? Because one day that would be a penalty, and another day it won't be. His arm was away from his body,
it hits his shoulder first.
He's top of his chest first, I think, or one arm onto the other, and that's why that hasn't been given. Very strange set of circumstances where now Roberto Gagliardini is coming on to replace.
But you'd love to know. You'd love to know what the referees are saying to each other when they've clearly seen that little punch and gone, well, he's punched him. He's slapped
any other part
him,
of the pitch at any other time, that's going to be at least a yellow card.
Yeah.
There's another potential penalty check now. For what? For potential handball.
I think your laptop's broken, mate.
Honestly.
Check over.
Absolutely crackers.
I'm actually hoping that your laptop's got the spinning wheel of death, and it's just because
it's not though, is it?
No, I know it's not, and I don't even know what the second check was for.
So I mean, as you can see now, it's just come up on the television exactly the same as it does in mine. I've got the connection to the VAR feed, which they send to the commentators so that we can see when VAR checks is taking place.
But what were they checking?
Champions League. What the weather was or something. 12 minutes to go. More checks than a 1990s back. It remains 2-0 to Inter. Here is Bastoni up towards the halfway line. Back in field to Darmian, who sweeps the ball forward for Inter, looking for AC Milan. Well, they would have checked the punch. They then checked the handball. I'm not sure the third one was legitimate, to be honest, but we shall see.
Well, they were checking it after the game had restarted. Weren't they?
Yeah. Here is Tonali. Two more substitutes incoming for AC Milan with 10 minutes to go, and them trailing by 2-0. It's picked up by Junior Messias, trying to play it down the right-hand side. Now Brozovic has got hold of it. He sent it in towards the feet of Lukaku, and it's cleared away. Correa is on to replace Martinez.
It's almost like Inter have settled, isn't it, for the 2-0?
Yeah, just falling back into shape now.
Yeah, they haven't really gone for it in this second half. It's like, you know what, we believe that we can hold out unless they get something on the counter-attack now.
Barella. 4-on-4 towards the halfway line, towards the left-hand side is Brozovic, finds Correa. Correa now moving into a left-wing position. He's got Lukaku waiting in the centre. He steps to go right, then hesitates. He faces up Calabria, goes towards the byline, beats him, tries to get the cross in. It's deflected away, but Brozovic will tidy up. Inter will keep possession inside Milan territory. Brozovic, who's added a little bit of composure to that midfield, I think, since coming on. He keeps the ball very well.
Again, very good player, very experienced. Exactly what you need at this stage of the game.
Experienced Croatian international Marcelo Brozovic. fired forward by Onana. That was a little bit loose. It was aimed out towards the right side, and Dumfries is pushed high up on the right-hand side. On back by AC Milan, and Tonali has been able to run through towards the edge of the penalty area. Tonali swings the ball out wide, chested down by Junior Messias, moves towards the edge of the penalty area, gets onto his left foot looking for a shot. It takes a deflection, pops up in front of Onana, who drops down and saves.
Yeah, very easy save in the end. A half decent chance. Messias came inside on his left foot. Go on, get your shot away. Sort of dummied the first shot. Just allowed Darmian to get back in and make the challenge as he had the real shot.
Talksport live in the Champions League. Tomorrow night, the Europa League takes centre stage. Europa Conference League. AZ against West Ham from the London Stadium.
You said it was
AZ. Sorry, that was my Dutch accent. My Steve McLaren accent failing me.
Steve Van Claren.
Bless him. Steve, he's brilliant. He came on and did a few games for us on Talksport actually. Now before he went back into Manchester United.
One of the best coaches I've ever worked with.
Yeah?
As a coach, fantastic. Absolutely magnificent.
Pierre Kalulu is on. Calabria is off. Brahim Diaz is also off. And is being replaced. I think that's Samasa Pabega. It is. He comes on for the final few minutes of the game.
We didn't always see eye to eye when he was a manager, but as a coach, absolutely exceptional.
82 on the clock. He has got a big job on his hands this week, hasn't he, really, to get Manchester United back into shape with Erik ten Hag in the next 5 or 6 days after what's been a disappointing week for them, losing at Brighton, then losing on Sunday at West Ham United. Big fixtures to come as they're trying to hold on to a Champions League place.
Surely they can't blow it now.
I would probably say the same thing about Inter, 2-0 up after a first leg away from home. It's the perfect scenario if you are Simone Inzaghi. And this is Barella getting the ball back off Lukaku, and then infield it goes. It's collected by Gigliardino, and he can't manage to pull the trigger inside the penalty area.
What a chance that was. Absolutely magnificent.
The ball stuck under his feet, didn't he?
But again, once again, every time they attack, the AC Milan defence just opens up, hot knife through butter.
Gigliardino with a brilliant chance. Now just running into Theo Hernandez, giving away a free kick. 7 minutes to go. And this is just outside the penalty area, within striking range. And if Milan were to get a goal back now, it would totally change the way they feel about the tie.
And this is where they need that man we saw in the stand earlier. Pirlo. Perfect distance for him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, this is, around about 27, 28 yards from goal. Maybe it's a little bit closer than that. Olivier Giroud seems to be fancying his chances.
No.
He's 37, he still feels fresh.
But I can't remember him scoring too many free kicks.
Someone's got to take responsibility. Theo Hernandez certainly can take a free kick from this sort of range.
Do you remember Giroud scoring a free kick?
I remember him taking a few, yeah, and not necessarily scoring them, but getting close. I think he's just sort of protecting Theo Hernandez here, really. And I think it will be the Frenchman who ends up taking this free kick. Scored at the weekend.
We've just seen Djokovic with his hands clasped, almost praying. So I guess he's a big AC Milan fan.
Yeah. Can they?
But he is set next to Shevchenko and in front of Maldini, so I'm guessing so. I guess that's where his free ticket came from.
Can they serve up an ace right at the very end? 5 minutes to go. Tonali standing over it, so is Theo Hernandez. It's a 5-man ball. It's Theo Hernandez. Oh, well, that's out. That's miles out. It is a terrible delivery, which is nowhere near the target, and it's very high as well.
Never, ever had the goalkeeper trouble, did it? Just see a bit. I don't know if it's from the same moment. We'll just see a picture of Zlatan rubbing his eyes and shaking his head.
Nearly took out a cameraman behind the goal, actually, that particular effort from Theo Hernandez. The goals coming in the first 10 minutes of the game from Mkhitaryan and then Dzeko. And those two goals have given Simone Inzaghi a brilliant platform on which to build going into the second leg here in 6 days' time.
Well, if it stays like this, Sam, it's going to be a great game next week, because AC Milan are really going to have to go for it.
Yeah.
And, they're going to have to make a real tie of it.
It's great for us.
Oh, exactly. They can't afford to sit back. And if they were to nick the first goal, then suddenly it really is game on.
Here is Fikayo Tomori up towards the halfway line. Swung the ball in towards Fabega. He charges down the right.
Was he just had a little stand in there?
May well have just ended up just standing on Bastoni.
Well, I'm going to say he meant that. Have a look. Oh, I think he knows what he's doing.
He's dangling a leg.
Look.
Touchline. He's looking for something, isn't he?
He's looking to leave a little bit on him, and he just catches his heel on the outside of his knee.
Well, Bastoni's not happy. He's just got back to his feet. He's having a word with the
Having never done
referee.
anything like that, I have no idea, but I'm guessing he meant to do it.
As an experienced campaigner, knowing exactly how to employ the art of injuring your opponent without
accidentally, on purpose.
The charge sheet is long. It was a different time of game though, wasn't it, when you were playing? You were allowed to do a lot more of those naughty things off the ball. Well, maybe not allowed, but everyone didn't see it.
The best one ever, Ian Wright did, mate, was pretending that the sun was in his eyes and sort of like shield his eyes, and then turn quickly and elbowed me straight in the eye, and then turned around and went, "Oh, sorry, sun was in my eyes."
Barella from Lukaku in the midpoint of the Inter half. A lovely little exchange towards the edge of the area, looking for Gagliardini. Doesn't quite reach it. It spins into the arms of Mike Manuel.
I was annoyed, but also quite impressed, because it was really quite clever.
Really like kudos.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, that's new. That's different.
This is going to hurt, isn't it, Milan? Because in Italian football, you've got Roma against Lazio, you've got Milan against Inter. These derby matches are pretty much everything.
The only saving grace is they've got another game to turn it round. I'm not sure how they're going to do that. They're going to have to play completely differently and an awful lot better. But that is their only hope, that at 2-0, they're not out of it.
They're going to have to hope that Rafael Leao gets fit quickly and can come up with something that can help them break down this stubborn Inter defence.
Or they're going to have to do something completely differently to change the course of this tie.
And if you're Inter, you're just going to try and kill the game, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, they'll be looking for a Jose Inter performance, won't they?
Yes, I think just a little bit.
Park the bus, waste plenty of time.
They do have lots of games in a short space of time. The league has already gone to Napoli in Italy. These two are fighting for a Champions League place, currently 4th and 5th in the table. Inter play, obviously, Milan twice. This is the first of those two games. We've got a cup final against Fiorentina to look forward to. They haven't played in Naples yet. But this is what the end of the season is all about, getting through these big games and big moments.
Yeah, when you're pushing for things at this stage of the season, every single game is a big game. Doesn't matter whether you're playing a team at the top or a team mid-table or a team at the bottom. You have to win them, and that's where the pressure comes in.
Milan have failed to score in the last two meetings between these sides. If they draw a blank tonight, it will be their longest run without a goal against their city rivals since a run of 3 fixtures between October 1979 and September 1980. Here's the cross from the right-hand side for Inter into the penalty area. High ball, which is caught by Mignon, and he will clear upfield.
I would arguably say that those teams of AC Milan, though, were maybe a touch better.
1979 to 1980.
Well, certainly after that they were, weren't they?
Yeah,
some of the players
after that,
some of the players that they had in that, it was like, Baresi was the original sweeper, wasn't he? And then the forward players that they had.
By Barella on towards Bastoni, who charges towards the edge of the Milan penalty area, runs into Malik Tiao. Across comes Kalulu, and he will clear from the right fullback position up towards the halfway line. Launched up towards Origi, who's fighting and scrapping with De Vrij, and it's going to be Denzel Dumfries who comes away with the ball. The referee tells Krunic to get back to his feet. Lukaku back to goal, on to Brozovic, he's on the edge of the D. Tomori followed him, sweeps the tackle away. Bastoni picks it up. 4 minutes of added time, ball kicked out by Bastoni. Origi was down on the floor, they kicked the ball out there. Inter, Giroud complained about that, but Origi was already getting back to his feet by the time he did it.
Yeah, it's just coming together. Nothing in that. I think referee's done maybe apart from the penalty, I think he's done pretty well.
Yeah, arguably he's done a very good performance actually in the circumstances, and it is tough circumstances.
And it probably wasn't him that made the decision on the penalty. We may be slightly convinced by the VAR.
Kalulu with the header away as Inter come forward down the left-hand side. Tonali and Barella getting very well acquainted with one another. Tonali's just pushed the referee. Careful. Ball is on the far side. Milan have the ball. Krunic up towards Teo Hernandez. The first 45 minutes of this game was absolutely terrific. The second half has not been as intoxicating, although there was a great chance for Tonali, who thumped the post. If that had gone in, it might have been a very different end to the first leg of this semi-final.
Well, I think that all that AC Milan can say to themselves is, look, we've been awful tonight, but we're still in the tie. We hit the post, could have got ourselves back into it. We can't play any worse than this. So almost you have to take the positive is they've been so bad.
Origi, and then tries to nudge the ball down Tonali into Babega, and he swivels and hits the ball straight down the throat of Onana.
And little bits like that, saying, well, look, you know, we were 2-0 down, we were awful, but we've still had a couple of shots. We've hit the post, forced the goalkeeper into a couple of saves. There's still hope, and that's why 2-0, you're still in with a chance.
2-0 on the night. First defeat in 10 games in the offing for Milan. Flick on by Lukaku. Comes through to Gagliardini, and out then comes Mignon ahead of Teo Hernandez to take the ball to the perimeter of the penalty area. The sports bar is going to be open for business in just a few minutes with Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara. 03717 223344. That is the number to call if you want to get in touch with those boys. And remember, tomorrow morning Alan and Ali back together at 6 a.m. on the Sports Breakfast.
But I don't know what Jamie O'Hara is going to think of this game, because apparently last night he thought the game was a little bit dire. Did he? He was very disappointed by all accounts. Not sure what game he was watching. Maybe he was watching one of his old games when he was manager of Billericay.
Was that Manchester City versus Real Madrid that we're talking about?
Yeah, you know, that one was like a really exciting, good game of football.
03717 223344. There was a brilliant moment on the sports bar the other night. I don't know if you heard it. Brian, the Leicester fan, Jamie and Jason ripped him apart. He was an absolute disgrace. He said he's not going to watch Leicester anymore because he can't stand them losing. And if they went down to the Championship, that was it. 25 years, it was all over. They weren't having it. I don't think many Leicester fans were afterwards. It was fantastic entertainment, though, and that will be on after 10 o'clock tonight. They always keep you entertained after 10 o'clock into the wee small hours of the morning. We've got just a few seconds here, and Inter are managing the game out, managing the minutes, trying to ensure that no chances are taken. No little moment is left open for Milan to exploit. They've chased the ball into the near corner. Across comes Barella. It goes out. It's away for a throw-in to Milan. This will be the last action of the game. And Junior Messias is going to launch it in as a torpedo in towards the near post. Ball thrown up into the air towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Thiaw is there to try and head it on. There's wrestling going on the edge of the penalty area. Free kick given against Kalulu. And it's going to be an Inter free kick. And that really will be the last action of what has been a very good 90 minutes for Inter. And that is the roar that you can hear. The Inter Milan fans are smiling. Edin Dzeko has a smile as wide as the San Siro, because they have beaten their city rivals in the main stadium tonight with 2 quick goals in the first 10 minutes of the match. It is Inter who deliver a show of strength in the first leg of the semi-final between these two heavyweights of Italian football. A city that is split down the middle, but tonight Simone Inzaghi's team have taken control of the tie thanks to goals from Edin Dzeko and Henrik Mkhitaryan and some rather calamitous Milan defending. There is still a whole second leg to go, but by then the San Siro will be full of Inter support, and half the job is already done. but only half of it. What a fabulous second leg is in store next Tuesday night. It's finished at the San Siro. Milan 0, Inter 2.
Stefano Pioli, the Milan boss, out in the centre of the pitch. Some kind of inquest, something he's not happy with in that second half, in particular for Kai Tomori as well in there, having words with the officials. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because it will be back to the drawing board for both, to be perfectly honest, as the Inter players run over to their fans. A beautiful scene, flags high in the San Siro being waved proudly after their side's 2-0 victory. Romelu Lukaku lifts a fist in the air. Edin Dzeko gives a big wave, as you mentioned, Sam, all smiles. And it is absolutely fantastic from Inter, who will now be, I think, firm favourites to go through to the Champions League final, but still an important 90 minutes on the way. We didn't really get the fireworks we expected, didn't have a feel of the biggest Milan derby in a generation. Inter, the only side that really looked like they wanted to reach the Champions League final, and they have wrestled the initiative away from their city rivals with a display, I think, that showed all the intensity, all the organisation that AC Milan really lacked. They were way off their best. It might be a first defeat in 10 games in all competitions, but really only 4 wins in 14 tells the real story of where they are right now. 6 wins from 6 for Inter in all competitions, and they have now beaten Milan in their last 3 games, all this season, by the way, without conceding a single goal. So next week, back at the Giuseppe Meazza, in front of what will be an ocean of blue and black, the Nerazzurri will be firm favourites to reach their first final in this competition since they won it with Jose Mourinho 13 years ago. Danny Mills watching on. I think Inter were very worthy winners, and they managed the second half so well. The message would have been, if we can take a 2-goal lead into the second leg, that would be perfect. And you could tell by their reaction at full time, that's exactly what they wanted, and it's what they got.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised they didn't really go all out for the third, because that, I think, would have killed the tie off completely. And it looked very, very possible that they could do that the way that AC Milan were defending. But I said that at half-time, it was always going to be a toss of a coin which way they went. Go all out to get 3, maybe even 4, or say, you know what, keep a clean sheet. 2-0 is a fantastic result going into the second leg, and ultimately that's what they went for. AC are going to have to do something completely different in the second leg. They can't be any worse than that. They were incredibly poor tonight. That's their only hope. That they have to get better than that. But if the next goal in this tie is so crucial.
Huge.
Yeah, if Inter get that next goal, that's it. Done and dusted. You know, they're into the final. Simple as that.
Okay, Danny, thank you very much. Before you go, let's quickly pick our man of the match with Till by NatWest.
Man of the match on Talksport with Till by NatWest, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and eligibility criteria apply.
So, Danny, who have you gone for?
I'm going to give it to Edin Dzeko. I thought he was a constant thorn in the side all night long of AC Milan while he was on the pitch. Held the ball up incredibly well, created chances, got them off to a fantastic start. Gave Tomori an absolute torrid at times, you know, really caused problems for him. Just goes to show, you know, that number 9 position isn't always about running and, you know, energy, all that type of thing. That experience, putting yourself in the right position at the right time, holding the ball up. Edin Dzeko, absolutely brilliant and completely justified leaving out Romelu Lukaku.
Absolutely brilliant from Dzeko on the evening, who became just the 7th player to score 20 or more Champions League goals past the age of 30, 37 years old tonight, and he was absolutely fantastic. Danny Mills, thank you very much. That was our pick for this evening's Man of the Match with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest.